Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late March 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Taurus collective as we move on into late March Aries season, which means Taurus season's right around the corner. I hope you're getting ready for your birthday. But what energies, messages, insights can we take a peek at? Yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, and then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus in late March. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. There we go. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of oomph in this. There's a lot of get up and go. There's a certain spiciness that I'm picking up with this card, which I do think could be really good for some of you. I don't want to yet call it aggressive, but there's like this push type of energy, which could be really nice. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the March subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, I love this image here. We have this strong, divine, feminine figure. It looks like she's in some sort of bathing suit, battle armor type of vibe going. And there's like this pink and yellow, warm, highlighted background. We got planets. To me, this is very similar to the Chariot in the energy that it carries. So it's like forward push, determination, can't stop, won't stop. There's this certain fiery undertone I'm picking up as well. So for some Tauruses, again, this could be your determination about something where it's like, nope, this is how it's going to be. This is how it will be. I'm moving forward with this. Nice, cool. This is actually good for energy levels. So if your energy's been a little down, I like this card because it's an uptick. The only downside with this is that sometimes it might be a little too pushy, a little too forceful. So again, watch out for anything that's overly aggressive, any people that are a little too pushy or aggressive. And we'll keep a look as we move through the reading and see if these tones keep showing up. But I like the forward momentum. I like, hey, this is where I'm going. It's looking into the future, and it seems pretty good to me. So I would just watch out with the aggression, but we're just going to put her down right there. She could keep planning what she's doing. Maybe some of you are taking a trip or moving too. But let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Taurus. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled An Unexpected Situation, and life does that sometimes, right? And now every unexpected situation doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but sometimes certain things evolve in a way that we don't see coming. Sometimes life is just moving along, everyday, regular stuff, and then things pop up out of the blue. That's kind of how it felt to me last week. So hopefully if any unexpected situations did pop up, they weren't too rough on you. But just know that energy could bleed through for the next couple weeks. So just keep the head on a swivel. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we can be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Taurus. What do we got for our good friends, please? Thank you. Whoa. Okay. Talk about starting with a bang, my friends. We got the Tower. And one thing to mention, not all towers are bad. But remember what I was saying about this really, really intense, fiery type of energy? Then we get the Tower. I don't think that's a coincidence, my friends. So we're going to really need to discern what this Tower is trying to tell us. But let's get some more cards out here. Let's get more. That's just the start. But it is starting. I think if you roll back and listen to what I said about the Oracle card, what card did I say that it reminds me of, Taurus? The Chariot. So it's like we're being proven right again and again here, right? We're getting a lot of, okay, that is the curveball, right? Because we have all this intense, fiery, pushy type of energy, and then here on the back end, just as I say, oh yeah, we're being proven right, We have the brakes screeching with the Hanged Man right there on the back. A lot of major arcana, a lot of energetic intensity this week. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I always like to look at the elements. It helps me frame the reading and see how the energy is flowing in the areas of life that could be important. And the elemental mixture is actually good, especially for a Taurus reading, because we have a lot of water and then we have water earth mix. Now, maybe it is a little water heavy, and that's fine. Even though like these cards are very fiery and intense, they're technically water element. Now, water represents the emotional world, the inner realm. Things or people that we care about. It could represent emotional investment in stuff. Water energy is highly creative. It goes with the flow. So it's great for creative problem solving, creative thinking, creative expression. And water does tie in closely, as I already mentioned, to things or people that we care a great deal for. Now, the downside with water, as with any element, too much of it is not that great of a thing, right? Because you could drown in water. It could be smothering sometimes. Water energy could be very intense in its own right, but it's always moving. It's always waxing and waning. So it's something we do need to keep an eye on. Here on the back end, this card is a mixture to me of earth and water. I usually say that's a good combination, but we are very much water heavy. Earth and this earthy energy does tie in more to sense of stability, sense of security, day-to-day life, routine, stuff like that. Money, work, finance, business, that's all earthy type of energy. The downside, it could be stuck. But what's really got my attention is we go from two of the most intense cards in the whole entire deck to the Hanged Man. It's like full stop on the back end. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we are starting with the Tower. Not necessarily a bad card, and if there's any signs that could actually vibe with a Tower, it would be Taurus, because this is the one that represents Scorpio, which is your opposite sign. If you look at the zodiacal wheel, Taurus right across the way is Scorpio. So you can actually deal with this. Now, again, it is fire brimstone looking, it is scary looking, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Like sometimes towers are good, but when we look at the big ball of wax, the Tower is very shocking. It's very out of nowhere. It could represent upheaval. It could represent hitting the reset button. So whether you're purposely doing it or not, like the Tower's like, all right, clean slate, let's start this again. It can represent endings. Okay. And I'm just being honest with you. The most difficult thing about the Tower is just the intensity and the shock aspect that we want to look into. But again, sometimes the Tower can clear way for stuff moving forward. Sometimes the shock is actually a good one. So we just want to see. And for some of you, it doesn't mean you're about to get back to back towers in your life the next week. It might just be energetic, emotional intensity showing up here. But we'll see. The Tower can throw some things on its head, though. So I do want to look at it. Now, moving to the middle, we have the Chariot. And we spoke already a pretty decent deal about what the energy represents, because we got it with that oracle card in the beginning, a very, very similar vibe. Now, as far as zodiac signs go, this one ties to the Cancer collective, so the Cancerians. And we see this person on a Chariot. The good thing, the good possibility, it could deal with distance, it could deal with travel, it could deal with modes of transportation, cars, vehicles, how you get from A to B. The Chariot is that determination, that forward push. It's either coming or going, and it's going quick, right? That's the big thing. It is a huge action card that we do want to look at further. So whether it's yours or somebody else's, it's like we have the Tower, and then this energy is like right on the heels of it. So we do want to look at it. Now, the downside with this, kind of already spoke about it, is the aggression. Because remember, I always say chariots were initially created as an instrument of war, an instrument of battle back in ancient times. It wasn't just to move around and transport. So sometimes this energy could be a little too pushy. Sometimes it could be a little too conflicted. So whether it's inner confliction, outer conflicts, we do want to look at this further, because it is very intense and very fast, very rapid. Moving to the back end, we do a complete and total 180. Now, for some of you, this could be a really great thing, but we have the Hanged Man. Now, as far as zodiac signs, this could be Virgo. Some people also link it to Pisces. Some people also link it to Scorpio. I give it to all three. So there is a really strong scorpionic vibe here this week for you, which again, Taurus could be very comfortable with. But the Hanged Man isn't the Chariot and Tower. This is full stop. retracted, pulled back. If anything, it's very similar to the Hermit, where it's like very quiet. Now, one thing I always point out about the Hanged Man, he doesn't look miserable, right? He is hung upside down. That doesn't look too nice. I always say, like, if I was hung upside down by my ankle, I wouldn't feel too comfortable. But he's just chilling, right? Like, so again, it could be just an abrupt stoppage or something, and we'll look at that when we clarify. But this card is about observing, watching, taking in information, strategizing, and planning. This card can also represent self sacrifice. So if you're the type of a Taurus where you'll take one for the team, take one for the greater good, that's what this card could be too. But it's really thinking before it moves forward. It's full stop. So that's the thing that I'm like, we really need to dig in because this energy is so intense on the front, so quick, so rapid, and then it's like screeching brakes. So I want to dive deeper on all this, Taurus. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our good friends? What do we got for Taurus, please? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's see what that tower has for us. Let's see. Why is that tower here, please? What is going on? Thank you. Cool. It feels purposeful. It doesn't feel accidental. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands in the upright. This is like a very bold, very confident. This is strong action. Now, normally I would label this tower as shocking action. To me, it is explosive in nature, where it's just like full go. And that's where this reading does get interesting, because I feel like for some Tauruses, this could be a great, great thing. For some of you, not so much, right? Because this energy does bring change, it does bring upheaval. So I have like this explosive change, explosive action, and it doesn't feel by mistake. Like it feels like it's purposeful, where it's like, no, I'm going to bring the tower in here. This dynamic needs to shift and change. The Queen of Wands in the upright is very confident in their actions, very confident in choices, very confident in decisions. So, like when I see the tower here, we're going to have to see how it plays out. But at least in the beginning, this energy was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it. So, we have the action, we have the change. It's very explosive and it's very confident, at least in the front. Now, if she was in reverse, that would be a totally different deal, right? In reverse, she's like reserved, she's unsure. Should I do this? Should I not do that? This one is like, no, I'm going to hit the button. I'm going to do it. So we're going to keep going. So we have this like explosive change in the energy or action, one or the other, or even both, because this does not feel accidental. I don't know why I keep getting pulled or urged to say that phrase. Like this isn't by accident. So let's go in on the Chariot. Let's see what that has. We're going to get more of the same, or we're going to get something different. For those of you connected to a fire sign, this combination, just watch out. The energy might be a little more volatile than usual, especially with this, because this could also be very reactionary. So yeah, those of you connected to Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, just a little cautious. But let's go in on the Chariot. What is the Chariot here? Thank you. Spaghettios. We have the Fool in reverse underneath the Chariot. This is an energy that tries to walk it back. It's an energy that tries to walk it back. All right, so in this time, I would urge caution for a lot of Tauruses. And that's the thing, like a lot of this energy doesn't feel to me like prototypical Taurus energy. It can be. Of course, I know everyone has different placements, sun, moon, rising, all that good stuff. But when I see the Fool in reverse underneath the Chariot, it's like, can I go back? Can I walk that back? This does feel like a potential like accident or a mistake in the center, or at least someone thinking that. So I would say in this time, anything you might be dealing with, whether it's work, business, anything, it's like just be cautious before you follow through, because there's sometimes we open Pandora's box and there is no walking it back. So again, it doesn't mean that all of you are going to make some wild, crazy, life-altering mistake. We're not going there. This could be minor energy for some of you as well. But this energy regrets what it does and it wants to walk it back. So I would definitely say watch out for mistakes. This is a warning that I'm picking up. Now the Fool, Aries energy, so more of that fire, is usually very confident, jovial, happy, lighthearted. But notice he's about to walk off a cliff and his little puppy dog's trying to stop him from doing it, right? So to me, this card can sometimes be a little little reckless. And I'm not talking smackless, and my sun sign is Aries, so Aries card. This energy can act before it thinks. So yeah, the main thing I'm picking up here in the center: watch out for mistakes, um, watch out for accidents. Like this energy feels like it wants to walk something back. Like there's a certain regret. It's like I feel so confident in doing this. Can we just forget that happened? It's like giving me an energy like that. Let's move on to the Hanged Man. Let's move on to the Hanged Man. And again, I'm not saying this is an energy that you're going to perpetuate. And this time, this just might be how someone you're connected to is feeling. Where it's like, I was so confident, but now I wish I could take it back. What's going on the Hanged Man? Let's see. It's a lot more intense and more wild than I usually pick up in my weekly Taurus readings. I'll just say that. But let's go in on the Hanged Man. What's the Hanged Man here? Then we'll do our quick little recap before we get into the shadow. Yeah, and very unsure. Very unsure. So we have the Three of Swords in the upright. You know, I always say that's on a spectrum as well. It could be anything from like minor nervousness, a little grumpiness, feeling a little gloomy, all the way up to like brokenheartedness or feeling betrayed and stuff like that. So when I see the Hanged Man with the Three of Swords, it's like, yeah, I don't know if we can undo that one. Like this energy is very unsure now moving forward. So again, whether that's you or somebody else, Hanged Man with the Three of Swords is like, yeah, I kind of don't want to experience that one again, whatever it might be. Um, it's just odd. Now, for some of you, like this energy could also be a little bit solitary. So if you have recently gone through some upheaval or some rough things, maybe Spirit is saying, like, hey, maybe you just need a little bit of you time for a while. Not permanently, just a little time to gather oneself. You know, like sometimes you just need to be in your little cave. And that's kind of how this energy feels on the back end, where it's like, I just need a little me time here, whatever that might look like for you, whether it's a hobby or um, as long as it's not too long, the isolation, right? But this energy is now like very much unsure. So with the way this whole thing led up, it would make sense to me. Now I'm not going to give you the answers and say like, oh yeah, you should walk about. Again, you would know better than I what your situation is. And remember, this is all just energetic potential. That's one thing I want to say as well. You are the creator of your experience. Your perspective matters most. Your opinion matters most. You can say right here, like, no, that's not my energy. I do not claim this. This is not going to happen to me. And you would be right. Or this could be something that has already elapsed. So I would just be cautious this week with the energetic potential. But let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we got the Tower with the Queen of Wands. That is very confident, very bold. To me, it felt like explosive change or action of some kind where it's like, yeah, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit the button. And I don't care. Like it's a very headstrong type of energy where it's like my mind is made up. Here in the center, we have the Chariot with the Fool in reverse, energy trying to walk it back. Or it feels like it made a mistake or there's some sort of accident where it's like, I wish I didn't do that. And you handle these however you'd like, but that's just how it's presenting to me. Feels like Pandora's box is open. But sometimes when certain lines are crossed, they can't be uncrossed. Moving to the back end, we have the Hanged Man with the Three of Swords. Now, I did say for some of you, like this is someone that seems very confused or unsure. That's fine. But I also have this little bit of isolation happening. So for some Tauruses, that could be advice from Spirit where it's like, hey, maybe you just need a little you time or something to focus on yourself. But yeah, the energy to me, I would just be cautious this week because it's been a theme since the beginning. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Taurus, please? And yes, this is where I pull you a shadow card, which I always like to do at the very end here, whether it's shadows within you or something you don't quite see. We're just going to get you one. So what do we got for Taurus? And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got in the shadows for Taurus? Justice, huh? So the big karmic card. Now, one thing I'll say about Lady Justice, if you're not connected to Libra, usually it's an energy that tries to be much more balanced. Where I've been seeing here, especially in your reading this week, this really strong energetic intensity. Lady Justice is kind of middle of the road, right? Like sitting on the fence, which sometimes is necessary. So for some Tauruses, especially with what we had here on the back end, maybe Spirit saying, like, don't do anything yet or don't decide on something yet. Remember, the cautious approach could be best, especially with Lady Justice. Now, I would say for some of you, watch out for any legalities. Watch out for anything you put your signature on in this time. Any legal situation, whether it's minor or major, because Lady Justice does tie into that kind of stuff. Okay, so just check and double check and read the fine print. But to me, it's an energy that just needs to collect itself. So we're just going to leave it at that. Taurus, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the March subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight into your situation and you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The March calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the March subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 subscribers to win either a copy of the Everyday Witches Tarot, beautiful deck, or a handmade crystal pendant, which I showcase at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, what zodiac signs do you get along best with? Which ones are your favorite? You'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.